I broke my back.
What do you mean by that?
My back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
I saw he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber!
Wanda! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man.
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up, MCR? It's another daily edition of the show, live on YouTube, obviously podcast from iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Going to be talking all things of boxing today, and of course, I'm joined, as usual, on these lovely, lovely daytime shows. Nighttime over there in the UK by the one and only Mr. Robbie Hearn, second cousin, twice removed of Sir Eddie. Rob, obviously, I bet you were in the kingdom today at the press conference, with the family. How was it, man? Did you enjoy it?
Oh, I really enjoyed the kingdom. Had to leave Vicky behind, but yeah, we had a good time otherwise. No, I'm only joking. Men and women are allowed, are welcome. But no, yeah, crazy setting for the presser, but left me a little bit. It was all right.
Yeah.
It's just hopefully the New York and London we can get a bit more, bit of beef. But I don't think we're going to get it because Andy Ruiz has sort of said, he respects Joshua and blah, blah, blah. So we'll see. But yeah, that one was more of a look how great Saudi Arabia is. And
Well, don't go into deep dive yet. Don't go into deep dive yet. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there, Rob. It's okay.
You just asked me how it was.
Yeah, but it was more of a joke, and you had a great joke back. I will say that. I was not expecting that one. But obviously, we're going to talk the press conference in Saudi Arabia today for Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua 2. Jared Hurd, Julian Williams rematch is now canceled due to Jared Hurd wanting other options. And I got to say, that one has been a shocking one to say the least. Quite disappointing. Gervonta Davis is now, of course, a lightweight, and he has a fight almost finalized for the end of the year. Plus a lot of other sort of tidbits in the news cycle. Eddie Hearn, since we're going to talk about Ruiz and Joshua, Eddie Hearn was did an interview with Sky Sports, and he had some words about Deontay Wilder. I know Rob found funny, so I know we're gonna play a clip from that and listen to Eddie be a little bit emotional about the heavyweight rival of his golden goose. But digress from all of that. Let's get to the main topic, or at least the big one, because it is the marquee fight probably of the year. Looking ahead, unless maybe if Canelo Kovalev gets pulled off somehow. Robbie about to jump in. I
thought you'd done KSI Logan Paul stuff yesterday. That was it.
I really, if I could slap you across the television or across the computer, I would. Don't you dare. No, stop. The marquee fight probably of the year is this rematch, Andy Ruiz, Anthony Joshua. And like Rob said, really interesting backdrop just from a aesthetics with the presser in Saudi Arabia with the ruins of Diriyah and Riyadh, and in the background, I thought that was just cool looking, so to speak. Of course, everyone that listens to the show knows that I have extreme gripes with the show being there, with the kingdom being as involved as it is with putting on sporting events. And again, Kareem Zidane put out a great piece in The Guardian, I think it was last week, about sports washing with Saudi Arabia in the last year or so. But beside that, I think, Rob, you made a good point. Like, the presser was kind of boring, kind of bland, a little bit too ceremonial, to put it lightly. But then again, A lot of boxing pressers are usually this way. And on top of that, when they don't have fans there, the atmosphere for the presser automatically goes down, in my opinion. When it's just media and like sponsors there, it's not the same vibe for a presser. It never is to have a actual fans there that are coming of their own accord to see fighters they like. You can't replicate that vibe, that atmosphere in a crowd. And hopefully in New York, hopefully in London, they have fans in attendance, and I think that would automatically make a difference. You don't think they will?
No,
Really, they should.
I think it's just going to be media.
That's one huge. Boxing presses overall are such a waste of time because half of it is
fight week is fine. These announcement ones in this day and age, just do it on Twitter. And
yeah, I probably say, and even the fight week ones, largely speaking, like because
I think you can get slightly, maybe not with heavyweights, although they're obviously still pumped up. It's fight week, they're ready to go. But when you've had a guy making weight and you're looking at the guy that's made you make that weight, it can get a little bit, agitated, and shit talk is a bit more,
but usually
on the table. But
the problem with
they're a bit.
But the problem with the presses overall is that they're non-organic. Like they're too structured, they're too formalized. You have way too many people talking that honestly should not be talking.
Oh.
Period. Point blank. Simple. Andy Ruiz.
Sorry, I was going to say a lot of the MSG ones. It's like we need to speak to the president of the MSG. We speak to the guy from this and this guy, and it's like they all say the same shit. And by the time you get to the fighters, I think they're almost like, just want to briefly skip out. We're going to do a good training camp. We're going to do this. And this time around, I'm going to do this, and it's like.
The only people that should be up there talking is the promoter, because he's the maestro there. He's the one orchestrating it and making sure that it flows, obviously speaking. And Eddie's one of the better ones at that. Yeah. Though he was a little bit, I would say, he had less flow for this press conference. I'll put it that way. His flow was lacking. But again, the setting, the atmosphere, all that stuff involved probably had a thing to do with it. But the only people up there should be the promoters, fighters, and the trainers. That's it. Not their dads, not their sponsors, not the advertisers, not the arena owner, not anyone of that nature. I don't care to hear about them. I don't care to hear from them. Stop putting them up there. And again, make it less structured. Make it where it's an open forum for the media to ask questions. That's what they need to do. Make it a big, giant media scrum. Because then at least you're going to get moments. You're going to get organic questions, organic moments from a presser. Otherwise, it's going to be boring and really not worth my time.
No, I agree. It's, I don't know. Obviously, had it been a big baby or something like that, he might have said some stuff to get under the skin or rattle people. But I just wonder, like I say, hopefully London and New York and then London, we get a little bit more out of them, because I thought it felt in Saudi Arabia it was almost like a ceremonial sort of, look, this is where the fight's going to be. Here's some information and that kind of thing. So it left it a little bit dull. I mean, the face-off, it was sort of a stare down, and then they had some words were mentioned, and it looked like it wasn't like shit talk or anything like that. I wonder if Joshua said, "Can I hold the belts?" or something, whatever it was. Andy Ruiz and that. So I wonder if it was something like, is it all right if I hold the belts or something? Just but they seem to be. Andy was saying, like Josh was a good guy. We're friends and that kind of. So I don't know. But yeah, it just felt a little bit ceremonial, and this is Saudi Arabia. This is the kind of feel of the event. I mean, when Eddie Hearn put out a tweet saying preparations underway, and the sort of press conference tables and the posters were set up with the backdrop, but it was like sunny and it looked amazing. And then by the time the press had come along, it's like
nighttime and you couldn't see anything.
Yeah, it was like pitch black, and there's like the lights were lighting up the the ruins or whatever it is, and quite in the background, but it fucked up the posters. There was like big light spots on the posters that you couldn't see, and it kind of messed things up. I didn't realize maybe the nights, because I don't think the time difference is too bad compared to here, and it was kind of like 4:30, 5 o'clock by the time it got started here, so it still should have been like daylight in what I thought it. So I thought we were going to get like maybe slight sunset, which would have looked like amazing if the sun was dropping behind that sort of scene that we had, but it was like pitch black and it was all sort of flood lit, and it was kind of weird. But yeah, it wasn't exciting, but it was, at first I thought, oh, this is going to be kind of cool, it looks amazing, but then it sort of didn't. I don't know, but we'll see. Obviously we know what we're going to get with New York. The media are going to be a little loud a bit, if the YouTube channels are there, because obviously none of those guys were kind of in attendance. So the YouTube channels will be there. And if they take questions from the floor again, that'll be interesting. And it'll be, so Joshua, about this lucky punch and, bringing up all the stuff that he's said, and we'll see how that goes. And obviously London. Yeah, so we'll get to see, but I don't think fans are going to be involved with this.
And I'll be honest, guys, I think largely speaking, I won't be as well. I don't care. Like, it's one of those events that, like, in terms of like media events, like I've told this time and time again, Rob, those that listen for a long time, you guys know, these press events I've found to be quite boring and to be not worth my time. Most of the time speaking, because nothing new, and it's not like we found out new information in any way. All we got to hear for 20 minutes was how safe and how great a place this is, and it's just how narrow-minded people like me are for questioning it. So cool.
I mean, this was the perfect time in Saudi Arabia to say, because apparently there's going to be loads of stuff going on during fight week, a bunch of entertainment put on, whether it's music, concerts, and a whole bunch of stuff. And he was asked about it, like this prince, whatever he was, he's a prince, but he's like the sports minister.
I think it was I forget the exact term it is, but it's a sports minister. I know that.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, but he said, we can't really sort of say just yet. They were asked about when tickets. He said, "Oh, well, it's going to be super easy, but there'll be more information." It's like we didn't learn anything. And I guess as a media member, if you're not one of the big ones, you're not necessarily going to get like we get the IFL like 30-minute videos, and you get all the scoops and the information and the little nuggets that sort of go semi-boxing viral, or the news comes from it. So yeah, I can understand that it's maybe like, did I really need to be here for this? But if you're putting in that grind, I suppose you have to attend these things, build relationships with people in behind the scenes, and get to know certain people. But yeah, hopefully tomorrow's one and the one after, we get a little bit more information. But some information did come out from it. Liam Smith going to be on the card maybe against Jesse Vargas, and Eddie's keen on getting Povetkin on there again on the card. But it's all sort of up in the air. That's sort of him putting ideas. So I guess we'll probably get Liam Smith and Jesse Vargas, but I don't know. We'll see. But
Jesse Vargas pretending to be a junior middleweight is just frustrating. Just stop. Go back down to welterweight. Just cut. Stop being lazy with your weight cut, please.
But yeah, I guess we'll see. More information will obviously come out in the coming weeks or whatever. But I'm sure Mike Coppinger will be the first with it. Occasionally, Keith. So
agreed.
Keep an eye.
Again, I just wanted to point out this article again by Kareem Zidane. Sports washing how Saudi Arabia lobbies the U.S. largest sports bodies. Link is in the live chat. I'll make sure it's in the description if I ever clip out this video. But moving on, still on heavyweights, but not really like a big important news story in any way. Eddie Hearn just had some comments about the recent Deontay Wilder comments about Tyson Fury stepping aside so Deontay Wilder could fight. the winner of Ruiz Joshua, and Eddie had some words. Let's just put it that way.
I've seen quotes from Deontay Wilder saying he wants the winner of AJ Ruiz. Does that prove how big the fight?
But let me tell you about Deontay Wilder. And actually, right now, there's no point us talking about Deontay Wilder because the focus is Andy Ruiz. And right now, you know, the position that we had, which was a position, in my opinion, of dominance in the division, no longer exists. So we can't be calling out Wilder and this and that. The focus is Ruiz. But isn't it interesting that when on fight week for Joshua Ruiz at the end of May, Deontay Wilder announced that he was fighting Luis Ortiz on Joshua fight week, okay? End of May. We are now at the beginning of September. There is no fight, there is no venue, there is no date. He hasn't talked about Anthony Joshua probably since that moment. Joshua Ruiz 2 Media Week, what happens? Deontay Wilder pops up and says, oh, I want to fight Anthony Joshua. Says, I want to fight Anthony Joshua and unify instead of Tyson Fury. Then why didn't you want to do it when Joshua had all the belts? So this for me is just another excuse to keep his name relevant. But right now, he is relevant. You know, he's still not as relevant as AJ, but right now, we can't call that fight out. So for the last nearly 2 years, every question going into an AJ fight was, when are you going to fight Wilder? Oh, Ruiz, don't worry about Ruiz. When's the Wilder fight? And he fell into that trap before. We're not going to fall into that trap again. Forget Deontay Wilder. Let him go and box Tyson Fury. The biggest fight in the heavyweight division is Joshua Ruiz. That's the focus. Nothing matters beyond that, except victory in this fight. So, you know, it's a bit frustrating because we know the game, and I think others start to see and understand that game as well. But Deontay, congratulations, you're world heavyweight champion. We are not. Don't worry about us. Don't worry about little old, our team over here. We're just out there grinding, trying to get the belts back. So let AJ focus on the biggest fight and the biggest moment of his career so far.
Rob, you know, like, when you said don't worry about us, you know when I send you the gif of Ross from Friends going, I'm fine.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
That was Eddie right there going, I'm fine, guys, okay? Look, of course, I mean, I think he is factually right in what Wilder is doing in terms of media angling or like media leveraging. Is that probably the better media leveraging?
Media PR sort of
tactics. You know, whatever word you want to use, whatever sort of adjective you want to use. But I think he's right in it. I don't think it's a bad thing though. Like that's where I come down with it. Like I think Eddie's right that Wilder is doing these things to always connect himself with his divisional rival, which is AJ, and on top of that, to keep himself in the headlines. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
No, but I think if you're on the other side, it's like
I can understand why Eddie. I can understand why they're frustrated that he's doing that. Absolutely. But on the outside, he's doing nothing wrong.
Oh no! I'm not. You know, I mean, I put a joke tweet out this week asking Skybet for the odds that Deontay Wilder announces the Ortiz fight on like Thursday before the New York press conference, and they replied that sorry, we're not offering betting odds on this market at the current time. Is there anything else we can help you with today, Rob? I'm like, no, I'm good. I said what I wanted to say. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. It's for both sides. You know, they're like obviously Eddie's annoyed. He's felt this whole thing, like they've all felt that he's kind of made his name off of Joshua's name throughout this whole process. And like you said, they're doing the right thing. It's in the media at the moment for, you know, why not be part of those media topics? You know, why not make yourself in those headlines in some way? So it's fully expected. You know, the fact, I think what's annoying is like, obviously for Eddie is that guy asked him that question. And it's like, oh, fucking Wilder. Here we go again. You know, more Wilder stuff. And he's opened his mouth. Look. But like you said, factually, he's kind of right. The whole fight week for Joshua Ruiz, I'm fighting Luis Ortiz. It's like, oh, you're catching some of this media wave. Okay. Yes, I see you. And then we still haven't had an announcement now to this day. Yeah, which I'm fully expecting this week, by the way. So keep your eyes out. I'm sure we're going to get a Wilder date at some point, either tomorrow or Friday.
No, it's definitely happening once this tour is done. The second this tour is done, expect the Wilder Ortiz to press release.
Well,
it won't happen during at all, in my opinion.
I don't know.
Because if they happen during, it gives AJ and Ruiz time to get the heat back. Because it leaves them another date, another presser to get clicks, to get headlines.
No, I know. I get you, but I just thought maybe the New York one, the media in New York, big media capital and stuff like that.
Ooh, announce it right before and have all the media ask questions about it.
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, how are you enjoying your New York press conference, Eddie? Deontay Wilder versus that name, but yeah. Some might say a bit salty. Some will say he's factually right and this is nothing new or whatever. But yeah, it's the game. It's just how it's played.
Look, Eddie is 100% salty, which is fine. He's 100% right in what he's saying, but it's not an issue because Eddie and AJ play the game. Eddie and all his fighters play the game. Every fighter plays this game. Okay, you just have to be aware of it. We're aware of it because it's AJ and Wilder. They have a huge microscope from us, the media, from you guys, the fans. So we pay attention to everything they do. But I guarantee if you go up and down divisions, certain guys, when they get in headlines, look for the next couple days who's in headlines or who's trying to be in headlines.
Yeah.
It's the other guys in the division. That's just how it always is going to be. It's just, sorry.
Look, how many people suddenly attach themselves to Pacquiao and he beat Thurman?
Everyone.
Yeah.
We're still hearing about a Mikey fight with Pacquiao.
Yeah. So, so yeah. Yeah, it's just the game. That's how it's played. Whether it's a bit cheap or it's this or whatever, it's whatever you sort of feel about it. You can sit and get angry about it and tweet about it, but I don't think it bothers anyone involved.
No, and of all the things to be upset about with this industry, this isn't it.
No, not really. No,
this isn't it. No. But one thing that we can be upset about is that we do not get the Williams and Hurd rematch this year. Obviously, one of the better fights of this year already was their first fight. Fight of the year contender, upset of the year contender. You could probably label that as well. I don't think anyone was really picking J-Rock heading into that. Probably a career best performance for Julian Williams. One of those fights that make you rethink and reevaluate what he is as a fighter, as a boxer. It's one of those fights that I really do love. The more I've gone back to it, because I've watched it several times since it's happened, obviously, and I love the fight. It's one of those that I can go back and watch probably time and time again, and I will tell other people to go watch that haven't seen it yet because it's that type of fight. But I do think it's quite interesting, Rob. And look, somebody's gonna take this way, so I'm just gonna go on this limb and say
everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
Everyone. It's quite interesting that weeks maybe after Williams stuck his foot on the pedal of 3-month VADA testing for this fight. If I don't get that, the fight doesn't get signed off. And now we have the news from Keith Idek that Hurd Williams is off, and it's due to Jarrett Hurd. Thoughts on that and the optics of it, that one came after the other, and for a lot of people, they're connecting the two, me included.
Yeah, I mean, I did straight away. I think I replied to Coppinger's thing saying, is this anything to do with the request of 3 months VADA from, but I haven't had a reply, but I've seen other things since, and I think I sent it. It's in the one-on-one Julian Williams tweet.
I'll get to all those individual parts, but just first Hurd not taking the rematch.
Initially, I was like, the fact that Williams put out his initial tweet saying that's what he wants, otherwise the fight's not happening, and now the fight's not happening.
Hurd claims that the reason he doesn't want to take the fight is because he has a new trainer and he is contemplating moving up a division. Now, of course, if he can't make the weight, he can't make the weight. And
I mean, I think I don't know if he said it's easy, but that looks he's huge, right? So that must be a tough weight cut, I think.
Well, I think he's on record and on like document, like on a video, dropping like 10 pounds in one night to make weight. That's not normal.
No.
Like you cut maybe 10, 15 pounds throughout a fight camp, throughout like an 8-week fight camp. Not 10 pounds the day before your weigh-in. He is doing that. He's a giant for the weight class, so if he can't make the weight and it's not healthy for him, then of course I'm going to support him going up to 160. And hell, we get a Jamal Charlo, Jarrett Hurd fight down the line in 2020 possibly. I'm fine with that, right?
I mean, on the other end of things, it came out Lomachenko was, I think, a week or even 2 weeks before the fight with Campbell, he was 2 pounds over. And Warrington was saying that's just unheard of. He is stretched at this weight. He cannot go any further than 135. So, it's the other end of things. He said, 130 and 126 is much more his weight classes,
But the problem is that if these are valid reasons, why have they sort of now been put out there through the media by his team in a sense? Because I assume that's where Keith Idek is getting this reporting is from his team. And why have we heard time and time again in the last couple months, fights can get made, they almost finalized a deal, a month ago. We heard a date for it and everything. We heard we heard a fucking network for it. We heard everything for this place. I think
we even heard possibility of quite a good double header, wasn't it? This with Harrison and
that was a rumor that I never saw substantiated by any other report. So I don't know if that's the case. I didn't see that in any report. I saw that from you and Leonard Sterling.
Okay.
I haven't seen that in any report.
I can't remember where I got it, where the initial rumor come. But anyway, yeah.
But beside the point, it's just now all of a sudden these are the reasons you can't make the fight. When, again, we've had months of the fight's going to get made. Here's all these things that are lining up for the fight to be made. It looks like it's official. Now, no, it's not. And it's coming after a week or two of silence after Williams was very public out there in social media going, he has not agreed to the VADA program yet, the 3-month window. He needs to agree to that. And now he's no longer taking the fight. Just bad optics. At the very least, it's really bad optics for Jarrett Hurd. But moving forward, obviously, I think it was. I mentioned this, I want to say last night.
Did you read Julian Williams' tweet? Because that suggests that Hurd's maybe.
Julian Williams, he said this: I don't kick no man while he's down. I wish Hurd the best. I'm confident he'll be champion again. Look, I think that's just J-Rock being nice.
Yeah, but when he's down, that suggests he's going through some shit, I guess. I don't know, but that he knows about. But I don't know, but
hold on.
It's off.
Maybe we're thinking that he's been super nice. Is this super petty? You know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe.
I don't know. I'm just
what you mean.
Kick no man while he's down. He didn't take the fight. I wish him the best to be champion again. I could see that being petty, but it just doesn't seem like it's J-Rock's personality. But beside that, J-Rock is per Mike Coppinger. The PBC is now exploring a fight with Williams and Eslandi Lara. Obviously, Lara just fought Ramon Alvarez. I thought this fight is perfect. I mentioned this fight, I think, last night.
Read the whole tweet. Read the whole tweet, please.
Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot that part. The athletic sources with Julian Williams, Jarrett Hurd now off the table for December 14th. PBC is now exploring a unified 154-pound title bout between Williams and Eslandi Lara. Shout out to that WBA belt, regular belt.
I've had an idea, and I've tweeted it out. It is the responsibility of all WBA, full WBA world champions to take on the regular title holders, and then that means the regular bout is lost forever. It's gone.
They said they were going to do that like 2 years ago, man.
No, I know, but that's what I want to see. That all the super champ, whatever, go on a let's get rid of the regular bout binge and just take on all the regular holders, and it's diminished or it's just gone from our world for good.
Now,
Lost
they could
forever.
just mean that it's unified title bout because it is a unified title bout. You know what I mean?
It's not unification.
But they didn't say it's unification. Like,
What's
you could just
unified?
it's well, Williams is a unified champion, so this fight's for a unified fight. It's for a unified championship. Do you see?
Yeah, it's a bit like.
I think you might just be misreading it. I'll be honest.
Nah.
No, you are, but it's okay.
Come on.
What do you mean? Come on, that's literally definitionally what he is. He's a unified champion. This is a unified fight, unified championship fight.
What the IBF and the WBA?
Yeah, the full WBA, obviously.
Yeah. But don't. Oh, I don't know. Whatever.
Now, if he said unification, of course, then you're right. Yeah. You're 100% right. If he said a unified title bout with Williams and champion as Vontae Laura, then I think if he like added on to it. But no, I think you're just misreading it. But digressing, Williams Laura. Are we surprised that A, Eslandi Laura is fighting 3 times a year, and B, that we might actually get a really good fight still? You know, it's not going to be a Charlo Hogan like situation, which we're going to talk about soon. You know, it's still a great fight. Eslandi Laura is still a really great fighter. He's still top 5 in the division probably. And it's a fresh matchup. I do like those at times. So, you know.
Yeah, I don't mind the fight. I don't mind it at all. I was just really looking forward to the one we were supposed to get. But as a, well, not even late replacement, but
just a replacement.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got no problem with that. It'd be a good fight.
Yep. Maybe not obviously an equal replacement, but just below it. Because, I mean, God, Laura almost beat Hurd. I mean, there's an argument that Eslandi Laura did beat Jared Hurd. Like, some people did have scorecards for Eslandi Laura. But moving on.
The knockdown basically, won it for Hurd, right?
Yeah, at the very end. Gervonta Davis versus Gamboa, deal in works for December per Keith Idek or early 2020. None of this is really surprising, just a confirmation of what I think we all knew. But, Rob, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, just because, look, we got to argue about something here, Rob. Okay, I think we agree too much.
It's early.
It's
There's plenty of topics. I'm sure we'll find something.
We're midway done with the show, man. We need to argue about something right now.
Let's talk about KSI
then. We can if you want, because we can definitely argue about that. I know you're way too high about it due to the DAZN Eddie Hearn relationship, but Gamboa. Are we a little bit too harsh on this matchup? Because Gamboa is still probably, a top 3 or 4 name on Terrence Crawford's resume. Gamboa is probably going to be the biggest name on Gervonta Davis's resume post this fight. Maybe not the best win, because I think Pedraza at the time was a better win, obviously, because Gamboa is not who he used to be. But Gamboa is still racking up wins, still being somewhat competitive with decent guys in the top 10 of divisions. And he's still a relatively big name. Maybe not in terms of a drawing power anymore, but he's a name that we know that has a long career, a good career too. Are we a little bit too harsh about this fight in a way? Like, are we only pissed off about this fight because of the last 4 or 5 fights of Gervonta Davis that have been nothing? Right? And that being a compounding issue. Like, if this fight was after Pedraza, would any of us have an issue with this at all? No, I think. It's only because Gervonta has fought literally no one since Pedraza, and now this is his best name, and it's a somewhat borderline top 10 name. Top 15 name, So it while not great, is significantly better than what we're getting. And on top of that, I do think we're underrating what a Gamboa win means, because he still is a top fucking 3 or 4 win for Terrence Crawford.
Yeah, how long ago was that though? When did he fight Gamboa?
2014. I'm guessing on that year. I could be wrong on that.
Let me.
I want to say I'm right.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah,
So
look at
5 years.
me.
When he was 32. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I'm not saying like it's the same. I'm not saying that Gamboa isn't far past his prime. I'm not excusing that. But I'm just saying, tabling those things, Gamboa is still a decent name within that 130, 135 pound mix. Still a perennial top 15 guy based off of the recent fights he's had. And still a name. Still the second or first biggest name on Gervonta Davis's resume. That's more of an indictment on Davis's resume than anything. More so than this matchup, I would say. You get what I'm saying? Like us being upset about this fight has nothing to do with Gamboa. I think it's more with just Davis. Like it's just like we expect so much from Davis, and this fight isn't it.
I just wonder if Davis wasn't with Mayweather, where he'd be now. I think he'd be already, doing better than he is now.
Might have a loss or two, but that wouldn't matter. I think he's that talented. He could bounce back. No, I think I've been adamant that he should get away from Mayweather ASAP.
Yeah, and there was a little period where he was making those kind of noises that he wanted to go, right? When sort of Eddie Hearn was throwing money about at one point, but that seems to all be over. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of this fight. It's just, I'm not sure. I think this is a very lackluster still. Maybe a few years ago, this was a perfect, like you say, after Pedraza, if he then beat Gamboa then. But I don't know. I'm not bowled away by this. For me, it's just another.
No, not a great fight. I'm not saying it's a great fight. I'm just saying we're comparing it, I think, to fights that are truly bad, like his last couple. Those are bad fights. This is significantly better than that.
So that's, we can't table that at him. And one was a late replacement.
Anything post Pedraza.
Yeah.
Like this is significantly better, exponentially better than his last 4 or 5 fights.
That was the time to really capitalize on, what they had, He went in, everyone was absolutely raving about him, in the performance against Pedraza and what I don't know. Mind you, did you see the picture today? I think he could maybe be a late replacement for Andy Ruiz if something happens in Cat. He is ginormous right now. But I don't know. I just think he's just treading water now. I don't think he's. I know he's had the hometown fight and he'd done very well as a draw in his hometown, and it's sort of semi decent kind of Showtime numbers or whatever. But as far as competition in his career progressing on a opponent type.
How old is Gervonta Davis by chance? How old is he still? Is he like 24?
Gervonta Davis.
He might just be on the Wilder diet in a way, or like a shorter version of that.
Yeah, 24. He'll be 25 in November.
They got like another year or so of trying to slow burn him in a way. Like you don't have to really push on the gas for someone's career to like 26, 27.
Yeah. I mean, look, he went Pedraza, he went Leon Walsh over in the UK.
Which wasn't too bad.
And then he fucked up weight on the Mayweather-McGregor card and but beat Fonseca. Then it's been Cuellar, Hugo Ruiz, and Ricardo Nunes. I don't know. It's just, Pedraza was unbeaten at the time.
No, Pedraza's a good win. Really good win.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of those wins that does sort of get better with time because he gave Loma a great fight at 135. Pedraza's a good name. Gamboa is easily going to be the second best name on that resume, unfortunately.
It's like name recognition. It's like, you got Gamboa on the record, but click on that record and realize he was 37. This isn't...
Yeah. So, Triple G's 37.
All right. You defend it. You get your little flag out.
I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, man. Okay, yeah. I'm trying.
And that's why you get the comments in the chat.
Which is funny because PBC Twitter hates my guts. Such a fucking passion. Moving on, still on the topic of PBC though. sources via Mike Coppinger, PBC in the process of finalizing a deal for Jamal Charlo to defend his WBC middleweight title versus Dennis Hogan.
I haven't got it ready.
Oh my fucking God, Rob! In December, Hogan. God damn it, Rob! God damn you!
Look, why is he not playing?
What you gonna do, brother?
There you go.
You know what? Hold on. We're just gonna start over, guys. We're gonna start over. Mike Coppinger saying sources, BBC in the process of finalizing a deal for Jamal Charlo to defend his WBC middleweight title versus Dennis Hogan.
What you gonna do, brother?
In December, Hogan.
What you gonna do, brother?
Dropped a highly controversial decision to Jaime Munguia in a 154-pound title bout, was denied a rematch, and will now seek a title at a new weight. Robert, thoughts on this fight?
This is great banter. It really is.
Yeah, this is shit. This is shit. Although I wasn't aware, but apparently Hogan has fought 160 and even 168 before. But again, of careers treading water. It's just nice to see Charlo is going to defend Canelo's bout. You know, sorry, I couldn't help it. That he was given.
And quickly, Arthur in the chat saying, where is Danny Jacobs? He's moving up to 168 and most likely fighting Chavez Jr. Check out the show yesterday for that information.
Yeah. I guess, again, it's all right. It's...
no, it's not.
I don't want to.
Look, here's the deal. This fight would be somewhat acceptable if this happened. Andrade and Charlo went through a long, lengthy process of negotiating for a fight, and it fell apart, and they had to make a fight within the 8-week window, right? That would be the only excuse for this fight to be made. But last time I checked, Rob, no one even tried to make that fight. Eddie Hearns didn't try to make the fight. PBC didn't try to make the fight. No one tried to make that fight when both guys had no fights lined up. Canelo clearly doesn't want to fight Andrade right now. Daniel Jacobs obviously is moving up to 168. The division is clearing up for those two guys to fight because other guys are doing other things. Why is that fight not being at least attempted to be made? Why are no feelers being put out? You know, again, both sides here. Like, why haven't we heard Eddie Hearns say, yeah, we've sent an offer to PBC for the Charlo Andrade fight? No, we've never heard that. And vice versa. Why have we never heard that PBC has sent an offer for Andrade Charlo fight on Fox or a Fox pay-per-view or whatever it is? Like, why have we never heard those things?
The only thing we've heard regarding DAZN and Charlo is that DAZN approved Charlo as one of the possible.
That's true, yeah.
For Canelo. So I don't know.
But Canelo clearly wants to fight Kovalev.
Yeah, I've just, by the way, just to put it in the one-on-one, it's just a little update on
that bullshit.
The Kovalev stuff. Like, it's not going to be a catch weight or anything like that, but they're very optimistic.
All right, we'll get to that in a second. But again, like, Canelo's out of the mix, I would presume, for the next 6 to 12 months. Triple G's fighting Derevchenko. The lane cleared up for this fight, and no one attempted it. 0 attempts. So that we know of, and come on, Rob. If there wasn't,
I'm just saying, Mannix would have tweeted something about because he's obviously DAZN side of things, and Cop would have got wind of anything. So, but I'm just saying when we don't know, it doesn't necessarily mean something hasn't. But I'm pretty sure nothing's.
I guarantee if Andrade's side sent an offer, Eddie Hearn would have said something to the media, and if Charlo's side sent an offer, I guarantee we would have got a drunken Charlo IG rant, which are legendary. Right? Like, but we're not. We're getting Charlo Dennis Hogan, which might be a fun fight because, as we saw with the Brandon Adams fight, Charlo isn't the greatest fighter like we saw.
In the what fight?
In the Brandon Adams fight. I saw the second I say that, your eyes like lit up.
Where's my board? Where's my board?
So I could see a fun fight between these two, but it's a fight that doesn't matter for anything. It's a fight that doesn't matter to me, to Charlo. The only person that this fight matters to is Hogan. Like, Hogan cares about it. It's a big fight for Dennis Hogan. Perhaps a bigger fight than the Munguia fight, honestly. Like, it's probably going to be on Fox or on Showtime.
It could be Showtime.
Or maybe a pay-per-view. I could see not that this is a main event, a co-main event. I could see this being a co-main to like, sorry, I should finish my sentence. Like Wilder Ortiz too. We haven't heard a date or venue for Charlo Hogan. Wouldn't be surprised if that is the co-main to that fight. It's a cheap B-side. What, Plant?
Huh?
What, Benavidez and Plant?
No.
Are you talking about the Benavidez-Durrell fight for Spence Porter?
Is that? That's right. That's right. Sorry, yeah, my bad. I was thinking that was going to be Wilder. On a Wilder card. I knew it was on the card.
Sorry, I'm sorry. But again, that would make sense for that fight. If it's not that, it's a main event on Fox or Showtime. But then again, it's a fight that I don't care about at all.
No.
Arthur even bring up this name, and I would have accepted this name over Hogan. Chris Eubank Jr. Like, there's tons of names.
He's at 168.
Fuck it, who cares? Pay him an extra $1 million to come down to 160.
He's I don't know. He's fucking tiny at 168. He's got no weight to lose.
I think come on.
I don't think he can do 160.
Really? Eubank?
Well, he probably can, but I don't know.
He's a small guy. Like, having been next to him,
he might weigh 160 now. He's got his dad off him. You know.
Oh, that's hilarious. Moving on. Speaking of Showtime, the next Showtime card, PBC card on the schedule, I should say, because the Shields card specifically isn't a PBC card, right? It's a Showtime card, not a PBC card. The next PBC on Showtime card is Erickson Lubin versus Yuriorkis and Brian Castano versus Wale Armatosa. A little loud. Slow down there, Ricky. Sipping that brandy there.
He's always loud.
I
Showtime putting them bids in. Wanting those licenses.
The funny part is, like, these fights aren't bad, right? Like, I think Lubin-Gausha is fine. Like, they were gonna make Lubin Hogan instead, so it's not like you got like a real drop off in talent. And Gausha actually looked decent in his last fight. I will give him that. For a guy that's looked traditionally like an underwhelming fighter throughout his career, his last fight was a decent performance. Brian Castano, he looked great against Aslan de Lara. Wale Armatosa is a fun action fighter. That should be a knockout for Castano. That should be a fun action fight. But again, with the storyline of this year being Showtime, or one of the story times this year being Showtime boxing sort of falling apart, this isn't really a marquee event. You know, like a year or two ago, this is a ShowBox Next Generation card almost. Right? Like, it's a Friday card. Now it's a Saturday card that's going to be competing on this date with a ton of other big events.
With a decent, really good main event, that's a good triple header.
I can agree with that. Like, if
this was Showtime Championship Boxing, there was a world title fight ahead of this. This is a good triple header.
Ooh, if they could make Leo versus Gary Russell Jr. on the top of this,
it's perfect. You would not complain about this, but the fact is that fight isn't on the top, and it's just left with these. Like you say, they're not bad fights. No. It just fits with the whole.
I want to make that point very clear in case like some of these guys are listening. Like, these fights are good. I like these fighters. But
don't be a pussy.
with the narrative of Showtime boxing falling apart, this fight doesn't, or this card doesn't stop that. No, it helps the narrative. Trust me, it doesn't stop the narrative at all. And I think the critics of Showtime will look at this and go, yeah, and look, is this it? Really?
If they don't do the Ricky, they'll do this one.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And I wonder, Rob, hypothetically speaking, let's say Wilder Ortiz 2 is a Showtime pay-per-view, right? Because it's going to be pay-per-view. Not Fox pay-per-view. It's a Showtime pay-per-view, right? And let's say they have the Charlo Hogan fight in December or something like that as a Showtime main event. Is Showtime happy? Like, are the fans happy with Showtime's schedule this year? Like, is that enough? Probably not, in my opinion. But just again, hypothetically, that's going to be the schedule most likely, right? You have
if Showtime get the Wilder fight,
you have Lubin. You have the Lubin fight in October. You would have the Wilder fight in November, and then a December card, right? Presumably speaking, because there's no card in August and September for PBC and Showtime, and they have a 10-fight deal with Showtime, one a month, right? And except for 2 months, they already have the 2 months out of the schedule, so we're expecting a card each month in October, November, and December. You know, I just sort of planning out what can Showtime do to stop this narrative. Wilder Ortiz has to be in the docket for them, even if it's pay-per-view. It has to be on that network, or they're going to catch massive flack. And they might have to catch like a Harrison Charlo main event in December or something like that. They might have to hope for that to be a Showtime main event. But I think that's already a Fox card, I want to say. It just, again, the narrative of Showtime boxing this year is going to be a sad narrative overall.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I agree.
Yes. Call in 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. International callers call in on Skype, Mixed Combat Radio. We have only a couple more topics left. We're going to just fly by. Keith Ledeck, speaking of PBC, according to Nielsen Media Research, Fox's 3-bout broadcast Saturday night peaked at 1.492 million viewers during the Lara Alvarez fight. It averaged 1.171 million overall for the 3-card telecast. Those figures include viewership on Fox, Fox Deportes, and Fox Sports streaming service. Decent number for an August card, I guess, especially with the event it was. It wasn't a good event at all. Was not a good main event. And a significant bump from their last August card, which was Devin Alexander, Andre Berto, which was to be expected, I would assume, because Edwin Delora is a better fighter. But yeah, no real deep take about the numbers here. Rob, anything?
Not really. It probably done better than I thought it was.
Agreed. Top Rank Boxing signing Ajit Kabaya, one of the European undefeated heavyweight standouts. His U.S. debut is soon. A.K.A. get ready for Tyson Fury. Kabaya. Yay.
Kabaya live from MGM Grand.
Yay. Nothing like a UK fighter and a... Where is he from?
Is it Germany?
Germany. A UK and German fighter fighting in Vegas. Nothing like that, guys.
Wow.
On a streaming app.
Well, don't say that. I mean, you're getting a UK guy and a Swedish guy. And you just had... No, what am I talking about? I don't think Kabaya was German. Anyway.
Is he Turkish or something?
I don't know. I've given up wondering.
I've given up wondering. We can just look this up. Like, we do have computers in front of us.
Yeah, I know, but it's a weird name, isn't it? I don't like trying to type it. Because BoxRec, you have to nail it to get it.
I just copied and pasted it.
Do that.
Yeah, that's what I did right now. You keep talking. You keep talking. I'm looking it up. German. He's German. He's German. You're right.
Go with your gut.
Go with your gut. Always go with your gut.
Go with the Andy. God damn. He's definitely needs a camp for this one. But yeah, look, he recently just the purse bids with Joe Joyce for the European title fell out and withdrew from that, and now we know why. He signed over with Top Rank, and I guess other plans. Don't be surprised. Would maybe a Pulev fight? Do you think maybe as well? I don't know. But anyway, it'd be nice to see him fight again because he is actually not too bad. It's just he's very inactive.
True, I will agree with you on that point.
He's been high in the WBC rankings for quite a while. He's always in there.
Top Rank has amassed including with the Frank Warren stable and all of those guys, a decent stable, but a really boring one. I will say. Right? That's what it feels like. Like there's no natural hype with any of these guys. Even Fury, I feel like, has like burnt out all the Deontay Wilder hype he had. Like no one is caring about this Otto Wayland or Wylene or whatever, however you fucking pronounce his name. No one cares about that. There's zero buzz for that. Hold on. There you go, Gary. What else do we have? Oh, and by the way, that's about it for the show. Let's go to callers now. Blog Talk is not working. What, Rob?
The Canelo Kovalev. Did you want to read some of that?
Oh, I forgot about that. I apologize. Jonathan Fitch saying it's a hardcore stable. Yeah, but it's not even just that. Like these names, like I'll put it this way: Spence and Crawford are both relatively hardcore guys, right? In terms of like people that care about them. Spence is obviously a little bit bigger star, I would say, but Spence has like matchups around him within the PBC stable that make you interested. Like a Porter fight is interesting. A Pacquiao fight is interesting. A Thurman fight could be interesting. Like the stable naturally produces storylines and intrigue. Like Top Rank doesn't have that really for any of their divisions. Like maybe featherweight because they have a lot of names at featherweight, but that's about it. But back to what Rob wants to go to.
Jonathan, and don't forget, Americans don't know of anything outside of America, so they can't get hyped up about Top Rank signing.
Whoa.
What?
Whoa.
A lot of Americans don't know the rest of the world exists.
Look, I know who Kabaya is, but am I hyped about this signing? No. Like, not really. Like, was I hyped about the Pulev signing? No. Was I hyped about the Fury signing? Not really. Was I hyped about
Americans?
The Warrington signing? No, not really. Because like the fight they could have made, it's not going to get made. And Valdez is leaving the division. Like there's a lot of things like they've missed the ball on, and like the names themselves aren't the most interesting people. Let's just be honest about it. Like they're not the greatest showmen.
They're not American.
Has nothing to do with that.
You just done a whole list of non-Americans.
Yeah, but like add Crawford to the mix. Like God, like.
Yeah, but you like Crawford.
Yeah, but I'm a super stan of Crawford, right? I could only listen to the 10 minutes of the Joe Rogan interview with him. That's how rough it was. Okay.
Yeah, you're like a 3-year-old. You got no attention span. You don't care.
That's also true. Like in terms of this space, I just
Homer. Oh, a squirrel. What's that?
But Sergey Kovalev's promotional team are optimistic a deal can be agreed for Saul Canelo Alvarez fight, and also no catch weight. Not surprising at all because I don't think Kovalev could get down at all from what he goes to.
Why make the fight? If Canelo's going to do it, it's going to be for his world title, right? Otherwise, why even bother?
Yeah, but you can make a catch weight and still have it be for the title.
Yeah, but
a la Canelo Cotto.
Yeah, I guess, but it holds sort of less weight, if you know what I mean. To me, like
pun intended.
You're the 175-pound champion, are you? You didn't fight at 175, so
yeah. And I see your point. I like the pun you threw in there. You know, has no weight. Also, Jorge Linares is fighting this weekend, guys.
You don't even need to put that out there, Matt.
Yeah, you can't watch it anywhere, but he's fighting this weekend. That's the only fighter that's fighting this weekend that you guys know of. You're welcome.
You jumped right off that train as soon as Loma beat him.
Oh, 1,010%. Gary in Dallas.
Gary, we were late on purpose. I told you in the chat we had a board meeting and we want to make sure you have enough time to think of the dumbest shit you can think of like you do every call. And we thought a little extra time you could say something even more controversial or crazy.
Hold on. Gary and Rob, after the caller I had last night, Gary... Oh my God, Gary, calm down there, yelling at me.
We could just hear Brandon Figueroa. Brandon Figueroa.
After the caller I had last night, no, Gary anything Gary says is going to be smart compared to that dumb motherfucker.
Do you want to know? I'll let you into a secret, Matt. As soon as Gary's call yesterday turned into his top 20, I switched off. I didn't listen to the rest of the show.
That's fine. I kind of assumed that. Gary, back to you.
I still haven't heard the caller you're talking about.
Gary, back to you.
Yeah. First off, I appreciate the extra time to think of the dumbest things I could say, Rob. That was thoughtful. That was kind of you to do that.
I mean, you're a Patreon member,
Good friend.
a valued, well, you're a part of the show, Gary, right? You call in as, nearly every time. So we're thinking of you, man.
I appreciate that. If you really thought of me, maybe you'd valued my time and you would start on time. That's if you were actually thinking of me.
No, but my perception of you, Gary, is that you literally do nothing, and that this is all you have to do.
I don't do nothing, although I'm pretty much retired at 36, so I'm not totally doing nothing, but my work's done in a couple of hours.
Nice.
And then I prepare talking points for the show.
Prepare talking points for the show.
Bullet point 1, Brandon Figueroa. Bullet point 2,
Verge Ortiz.
Yes. Let's go through the Texas checklist.
Tanahara beats Ryan Garcia. Point number 3.
Sure.
And on a really long call, Oliver McCall.
I don't bring up Oliver McCall. Yeah. Okay. This is funny. When I flew back from the Brandon Figueroa fight from the Valley, my flight literally came in 3 minutes late. Right. And I was complaining, and my wife's like, "Your flight's not late." I'm like, "Yeah, it came in 3 minutes late." It's like, "Are you joking me?" I'm like, "No, they block off this whole time, and then they can't even get in on that time. Like, if you miss your train by 3 minutes, you missed your train. If you miss the bus by 3 minutes, you missed the bus. Like, why are planes different? Why can't they get on time? There's no traffic up there. Just take off and land." They block plenty of time. So then my wife's looking at me like, "You're not joking, are you?" I'm like, "No. Why can't people be on time? It's just rude."
It's like if you miss the scheduled time for the start of a YouTube show, you can still do the show. You don't miss it. It's all good.
But I can't catch it live. So there's a payoff.
But you do. That's the point. But you do.
Are you pre-recorded now, Gary? How did you know what we talked about? Anyway, boxing. What do you think? Hurd and all that stuff?
The other thing, Black Talk not working is becoming like a reoccurring theme. I hope they refund you a portion of your money. I mean, this is getting silly.
Yeah.
I know that's an expensive feature.
Yes.
I hope they're...
Yeah, I know. I've been looking to other things to solve this issue.
The other thing I wanted to...
Skype?
No, that's not what we're going to do.
Black Talk's reasonably expensive. I don't know if there's any, I don't know if there's a Chevy to that Ford, but if there's not, then I guess you kind of have to pay what they tell you to pay. But I mean, it's down a lot. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Lotta and Alvarez number 1.1 and peak of 1.5. That's a really good number given two things: that Laura fought a cab driver, and that was the first week of college football. That was the first Saturday of college football.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good number. I know that's a fight that should be on FS1, so I didn't know how it would do on Fox. But I mean, all things considered, $1 million plus for that fight, a guy with a small fan base against a cab driver against football. That's kind of a win, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, it is definitely. I thought I was gonna do far less than even like the Berto Alexander cards because, like, there was no support for this card whatsoever. Like, even the PBC crowd was like struggling to defend this garbage.
They tried though, bless them.
They tried. They definitely did.
Yeah, I thought that thing was gonna. I was looking for it on FS1 to record it, and I saw it was on Fox. I was like, "This is on Big Boy Fox? That's not a great card for Big Boy Fox." Then the other, I wanted to address what Rob said, and it's funny because Rob said Americans don't know about the rest of the world. Which is funny because we say that in Texas about like the East Coast or people in New York, like they have an East Coast bias. Like if it happens after they went to bed, it means it didn't happen to them. But who was the one that told y'all about Alessandro Rigatoni? That was me, an American, right?
Rigatoni.
Rigatoni, as Matt would say.
Get it right, Gary.
That was me. That informed y'all of
I'm
Rigatoni.
sorry, I didn't mean to tie you all with the same brush. I apologize. Some Americans know of other countries.
And in your neck of the woods, your guy, Sam Eggington, on the zone card, is fighting the Italian sensation Orlando Fiorigilio. Are you into that fight at all, Rob?
You know I am. It's a matchroom card. Of course.
It is a matchroom card, yeah.
It's on the zone, right?
You want to get credential for that, Rob? Where is that in reference to?
If Matt can stretch to a flight to Italy, maybe.
No, it's not in Italy, is it? It's in the UK.
It's in Italy.
That's match from Italy.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a match from Italy card. I thought that was a regular. Okay. So yes, is that a yes, Rob? You going to Italy?
We'll check the budget. We'll check the budget. Yeah, we'll check the budget.
Now we've got the code for the
super
the
chat. Hey guys, super chat right now. Hashtag get robbed Italy.
Yeah, pounds, not lira or euros. Pounds.
Pounds.
Pounds, not dollars. Sounds like crawler.
That doesn't even sound like an American accent. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
That sounded very Canadian.
I don't know. It's a little bit Texan. Y'all.
Who is your favorite, Rob? Matt won't know, but Rob, who is your favorite Series A Italian soccer team, football?
It used to be. I used to follow Inter Milan.
Me too.
Me too.
Okay.
Me too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, me too.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Purely because of Ruben Sosa years ago.
Oh, Ruben Sosa? Yeah, man. Huge fan of him.
Matt, shut up. You don't even know what a football is.
Pigskin? Yeah.
That's the big leagues.
Yeah.
Do you follow Series B at all?
Not so much. I've kind of football and me have gone separate ways since boxing's sort of took over. I might have to readdress my because I'm getting way too involved with boxing, just searching the news constantly every day.
How big is like the B series and the C series? Is that general soccer audience watch?
Is there a Z series?
No, it doesn't do the alphabet.
I
guess over in Italy it would be, over here we get some Serie A on.
What the fuck are we talking about? Please, guys, please.
We're talking about the DAZN Italy card, and now we're doing a little.
Rob, I will let you. I will produce a football. I'll say football too. A football show for you. A weekly football podcast for you on Trending Now. It means we don't talk about it ever again on this show.
I haven't got my finger on the football pulse, Matt. I've totally just football's. If it's on, it's on. I watch it.
I don't care.
There's a.
Can we talk about Rigatoni?
Series B team, Rob Trapani, that's based in Sicily.
Hey, Gary. Shakur Stevenson knocks out Brandon Figueroa.
That is so utterly ridiculous.
Black, and he's
and drown him. Like that fight would be that'd be it.
Well, Gary.
Might have some success.
Gary, I wanted your opinion on the Bob Arum quote that you said Shakur Stevenson would be more competitive with Loma than Devin Haney. Your thoughts on that?
See, it's tough because I saw Haney. He's a big dude. Boy.
Pause.
Shakur Stevenson could box with him. I don't think he can outbox him, but he could box and he couldn't win the fight. But I think he could win rounds. I don't know. I mean, I'm not that impressed with Devin Haney. I kind of agree with him, but then I saw Haney, and Haney might just be too big for him, honestly. But I don't think either of them would beat Loma. I don't think Loma's a full-fledged lightweight. I think he's a 130 guy who fights at 135. And Haney's a huge lightweight.
Gary.
But Yeah.
What do you think about Jared Hurd ducking Julian Williams?
Are we done with the Loma thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving along.
I think that's one of the names that Eddie Hearn has sold us. That's moving over to the zone, and I think that he's opting out of that fight because he's moving over to middleweight and Matchroom.
Well, you think Jared? Wait, you think Jared Hurd's going to Matchroom?
I do.
Whoa.
Oh. Gary making me sit up in my chair.
Yo, Rob, relax, man. Like,
if
this
you're
was
going
one of the
to
original names I thought they were going to get.
Yo, Vicky's watching this. Like, I can't even get him to be like this excited.
Dear.
But really, Hurd was not one I expected to move. Williams was one I expected to move more than Hurd, to be quite honest.
I could see either one of them, but it was Hurd that pulled out, which makes me think he has a better offer to fight at 160 somewhere else. But because he said this was his last fight at 54 anyway. Well, if Eddie sweetened the deal for him and said, I'll pay you that much plus more, plus you'll be in the Canelo sweepstakes if you come over a match and fight in the zone, how do you say no to that?
If we
Triple G, Andrade.
If we get Andrade Hurd this year, I'm okay with what transpired. I'll be honest.
Because I remember Eddie a while back, like early days of the zone, he was saying about this fighter that's coming over. He's hardly got any Twitter followers. He's got like 4,000. So I'm straight away going through the like Google boxers and their Twitter numbers.
You're sleuthing about.
Yeah, and I'm like, Jared Hurd, he's gonna get, and then it never happened, and he kind of. I thought he came out at one point and was like, "Nah, I'm good, thanks." You know, I know where. You know, where my bread's buttered, thank you very much. And kind of almost shit on it and was like, nah. But Gary, you might be right. Who knows?
I don't think he is. But
I
don't think you are right, Gary, but I like the poll. I like the thought.
Game.
I like the theory.
Up your game, cop.
Matt, it was Hurd a fighting champion, right? Like, did he fight everyone you wanted him to fight after winning his belt?
Yeah, it definitely was.
For sure, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just doesn't seem in his character to pull out of a fight. You know, like, unless he really thinks he can't win, which I don't think he thinks that, like, why else would he pull out of the fight? You know, there's got to be something else.
Well, I mean...
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
We did have J-Rock demand 3-month VADA testing, and then weeks later, after silence from Jared Hurd, he decides not to fight J-Rock. A connection? I don't know.
Unless you think, do you think he'll get a fight straight away at 160 against, let's say, Jamal Charlo? Because that's really the only fight they can make.
Nope. Charlo versus Dennis Hogan is happening.
Is that that is a great fight, by the way. He
No,
can
it's not.
redeem himself in that one.
No, he can't.
Say it again out loud.
Guys, look, Gary, come on. Hogan's actually going to be more competitive than Brandon Adams, and that's scary.
Absolutely. I think Hogan would beat Brandon Adams for sure. I don't think Hogan was that bad. I think he beat...
What you gonna do, brother?
Charlo might lose this fight, and like what? Like, you saying like that's like a shock, but like, look, let's be honest here. Like, Charlo hasn't been impressive in some time.
No, he didn't look good at all against Brandon Adams, but he won probably 10 or 11 rounds. It's not like he was ever in trouble in that fight. And no, he didn't look good in the fight, but come on, Matt, there's levels. He's not going to lose to Hulk Hogan.
I don't know, man. Like, look, I think we overrate and underrate certain guys, and I think Charlo's specifically have been overrated.
Had you not said Hulk Hogan, I would have used a soundbite, but I haven't got a Dennis Hogan soundbite for when you say Hulk Hogan.
I see what you did there, Rob. That's funny.
I refused. I was hovering, and then nah.
Yes. You didn't play any Brandon Adams soundbites. That's really depressing.
Rob.
Yes.
Can you speak some sense into him that Jamal Charlo's not going to lose to Hulk Hogan?
No, I'm picking Charlo, but like Hogan could easily win this, guys. Like it's not like out of the question as I think we thought maybe 3 years ago if this fight happened.
So if Hogan beats Charlo, does that mean Hogan equals Canelo because Charlo's got Canelo's belt? Is it that, how good do you have to be to beat Charlo? Do you think?
Right. If Dennis Hogan beats Charlo and then fights Canelo, I'm on the Dennis Hogan hype train 100%. Okay. He's the new Jeff Horn, guys. TBE. Let's go.
You do not want to be the new Jeff Horn. That is not a good new thing to be.
Dennis Hogan's 100% the new Jeff Horn, guys. I'm calling it early.
Oh, God. And this is why I might get back into football.
And this is why we don't get credential as much as we should.
Just stop with all this sports washing nonsense, please.
Nah. Gary. Gervonta Davis, Gamboa. What else do we have?
Gervonta Davis and Gamboa does absolutely nothing for me. And I like Gamboa. I don't know. I just kind of like all the Cuban fighters for some reason. I mean, I don't have any lineage to Cuba, obviously. I just kind of always like the Cuban fighters. I like Gamboa, but that fight does nothing for me. Tank's gonna blow him
out. All right. Did you see the press conference in Saudi Arabia?
I watched like 2 minutes of it. Press conferences don't really move me. They don't really do anything.
Fight week's better, right, Gary?
But they still are trash.
Yeah.
They're better trash.
It is the closest that AJ will ever get to a heavyweight title again. So that is good.
Well, thanks for calling in, Gary.
No, but
that was a good one, Gary. Thank you.
It was good. Shout out to you.
In all seriousness, who do you think gets a heavyweight belt first, Usyk or AJ?
AJ.
From who?
Are you serious right now? He has a fight for heavyweight belts lined up. Usyk is fighting Tyrone Spong. Like, pure mathematically speaking, one guy's chances are far higher.
Unless he faces the winner of Wilder Ortiz.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Matt. If I were to fight Deontay Wilder tomorrow, would my chance of winning a world title be better than Anthony Joshua's?
Here's the comparison you need to use, okay? If you were a great gold medalist boxer, only had one loss in your career, and then find Deontay Wilder after losing to him, yeah, your chances of winning a belt sooner are far higher than someone fighting a top 150 heavyweight.
And also,
like just the pure logistics of time work towards your advantage, or in this case, obviously AJ's advantage in this the actual comparison we're using. So
and
yeah, Gary.
Then that diminishes the more you lean towards being a virtually retired, working only 2 hours a day guy that just calls into boxing podcasts.
I don't see how that equates, but okay. But you said something interesting there when you called him great and a gold medal winner. He was given a gold medal when he lost to Clemente Russo. That's one. And I don't know that it's fair to call Anthony Joshua great. Like, that's probably good. That's probably a little bit more of an overreach. That's a lot.
Gary, yeah. What contemporary heavyweight has a better resume than AJ?
There isn't one. Save you from thinking there isn't one.
Fury.
Yeah. He's got wins over Klitschko and Wilder.
He doesn't have a win over Wilder.
And he has one win over Fury. I mean, one win over Klitschko. And what wins over Chisora?
Oh yeah, he's got 2 wins over. 1 or 2 wins over Chisora.
Yeah.
1. I think he beat him. Okay, we got to win over Chisora, Steve Cunningham, guys like that. Tom Schwartz, of course. Don't forget.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Parker.
He was number 4 with the WBA, wasn't he?
What do we have? Parker, Klitschko, Takam, White. Who else?
Povetkin,
Dominic Brazil.
Charles fucking Martin.
I mean, yeah, the fucking
And
god
Charles
himself.
Martin's underrated. Like everyone hates on Charles and Stavern. Like both those guys were pretty decent heavyweights. Like both those guys are better than Brazil. You're right. Okay, you're not. You've convinced me. I think Fury's got the two big names at the top, but you're right. Anthony
He
Joshua
doesn't because he didn't win the other fight, Gary.
Oh, Matt.
One at the top.
It's like saying Sweet Pea didn't beat Chavez. We all saw the fight. We know who won that fight.
No, I hear you. You're right, but check on BoxRec. That's the resume and record we're looking at.
Why should I trust BoxRec and not my eyes? Like, I saw the fight. I've seen it like 3 times.
All right,
but
Gary,
your eyes could be colorblind for all I fucking know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, your eyes can literally lie. Like,
then I can't trust what I see on BoxRec either. If my eyes are lying.
Gary, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Do not trust what you're looking at. You specifically.
Okay.
It was officially called a draw. That's all we can go by. He didn't beat, even though everyone thinks it.
And no, not everyone.
All right, everyone but you.
It's not everyone but me. You act like there's not a good 20 to 30% of people that think the fight was Wilder's, and then there's another 10 to 20% of people that think it's a draw. Like, are we? Not really. Oh my God, Gary.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Are you watching the Full House over there? What are you doing?
Yeah, that was his
20 to
fucking
30%
Nokia.
Do you really think a third of the people who watched that fight think that Fury didn't win a third?
Yeah.
Well, what percentage of PBC fanboys?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I can easily see a third saying that. A third didn't think Kovalev won the first fight. I'm one of the third as well.
I am too. I had it just like the judges, 114, 130.
Right? Like, I remember seeing a bunch of polls, like, you know, they're not scientific polls, but they're big polls with tens of thousands of votes, and around 20 to 30-something% of people were picking Ward to win that fight, or said that Ward won that fight.
And how many of them were Polish, did you say?
Polish.
You said the Poles.
I didn't know.
It's the joke side.
I get the joke now, but I was like, I want to be like, Rob, you know, like Kovalev isn't
Russian. Yeah.
He's Russian, right? Like we just had the Anthony Yard fight. How could you forget this? You know,
deepest darkest Poland. No, I have to wait for you.
I'm like, you know, Andre Ward also isn't Polish, right? Like, he definitely doesn't have the look for it. But digressing, no, I think definitely 20 to 30% of people easily think Deontay Wilder either won that fight or is a draw.
So 80 to 70% or 70 to 80% thought he lost.
Yeah, potentially.
8 is close enough for me to say everybody.
Yeah, like Matt's kind of right. It might be a third because, like, if you just ask
guys, if we're talking about millions of people talking about a fight, then like 20-30% is millions of people as well. Like, that's a lot of people.
Sure,
like,
and Matt's right. Like, if you just poll people on anything, right, and say yes or no, a third of the people will just take one side, and a third of the other people will just take the other side. And it's really like only a third of the people who you're reasoning with. Like, it's kind of that way. Like, if you poll anything, a third of the people will say, yeah, that's good, or no, that's bad. So, yeah, are a third of the people fanboys, PBC's fan base of people who watch that fight, a third? Maybe. And they're going to say Wilder won regardless. But I don't know how you watch that fight objectively.
So if that's a third, if a third feel, you've then got to break down that third.
That's what I'm saying. That third is probably...
You've got PBC fanboy.
Oh my God, guys.
Clinically blind.
Guys.
Clinically blind.
Guys, the fight happened a year ago now, guys.
Yeah. And you still don't
Fury had the rematch clause or contract in his hand for a week and didn't sign it. And then fought Tom Schwartz.
Yeah, but now it's signed. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's signed. Yeah, sure.
Cop said it's done.
As a Wilder fan, would you rather see...
I wouldn't say I'm a Wilder fan, but okay.
You're not a Wilder fan? I didn't say a fanboy, but you like Wilder, right? Yes?
No? I wouldn't say he's my favorite heavyweight, even.
Okay.
Who is?
If I say you guys won't believe me, that's like the
Name
report.
it.
AJ is clearly my favorite heavyweight.
Is your favorite?
100%. And Gary, you listened to me from like the beginning. You should know this. That I've been like an AJ guy from the beginning. Okay? But I like Wilder too. Like I think like my thing is I will always, if I see a large group of people, and this is like for anything, this is how I'm wired. If I see a large group of people shouting and yelling about something, I'm like, oh, that's bullshit. I am going to be extra vocal against that large group of people. And the large group of people saying that Wilder's not a good fighter, not a good champion, he's a fraud, like that's just bullshit. Like that's just not true. Like that's categorically false. So like that's why I think yell the most about that shit. AJ has a large contingent of people on his side. He doesn't need me. But AJ is clearly the best heavyweight, has the best record. Well, not right now, maybe in terms of the best heavyweight. Shout out to Andy Ruiz. But yeah, I've always been highly, highly respectful and liked AJ as a fighter.
No, I like AJ too. I just like to.
And honestly, now that Usyk's in the division, come on, man, Usyk might be at the top. What are we fucking talking about here?
But AJ's a good champion. He's a good guy. He's a fighting champion. Like you said, he fights everybody. Doesn't duck anybody. Let's not get into that Wilder thing. But AJ behaves like a champion. I like AJ.
Yeah, I think AJ has been a massive positive for the sport. How can I not like that?
I thought he was well when he took his loss in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Clemente Russo of Italy, and I think he was classy when he lost to Andy Ruiz.
Absolutely.
Is a good dude.
You're rooting for Joshua to get his titles back.
I've been on the record how many times saying that AJ wins the rematch.
You want him to, or you think he will? Do you want him to?
It's not about wanting. Like that to me, it's never been about. Like that's usually not how I look at like fights. Is wanting. Like there's very few fighters that reach that level for me. Like it's Nate Diaz, and like, God, who else would be on that list that's still around today? Inoue, like he might probably be on that list for me. Maybe Usyk, he might be on that list for like contemporary active fighters right now.
That's bullshit.
Jose Aldo. Anytime Jose Aldo fights, I'm gonna be rooting for him to win because I just love him. Like I love him as a guy, as a fighter. Like he has been such a great ambassador for the sport in Brazil. I don't know if there's a lot of boxers that really like I care about like wanting to see win or lose. Like that doesn't matter to me. I'll put it this way. Do I think it's better for the sport if AJ wins? Absolutely. So I do kind of therefore want that to happen. But that's a weird way of thinking about it.
Do you want it if it starts turning into Joshua Wilder negotiations talk again?
Wait. Ask
Matt,
the question again.
I want to talk about that because I don't agree with you. Do you think it's better for the sport if AJ wins?
Absolutely.
I don't agree with that. AJ's already a star. If Ruiz gets knocked out, he goes the way of Buster Douglas and no one cares about it. AJ's already cemented this. He's already a star. He could sell out in the O2 Arena fighting his grandmother. Like, that's not a problem. Ruiz would make it another relevant heavyweight. If Ruiz gets knocked out, he's Buster Douglas. Like, no, he's a one-hit wonder that nobody cares about. If he wins, then he's a star.
That would be pay-per-view, by the way.
Wait.
Joshua beating up his grandmother. That would be pay-per-view. Eddie Hearn would sanction the fight.
Gary, you have to realize how stupid it is to say that Andy Ruiz off of a single loss to AJ after he already beat him once would be therefore automatically Buster Douglas and then therefore automatically a bust, to use the pun. Like, come on, Gary. Like, let's not we don't have to be like the weird fans in the comment sections and think with little tiny brains. Like, no, that's not the case. Like, come on, Gary. You're a smart guy. You've followed the sport for a long time. You know that's not the case. Could that be the case if Ruiz loses? It could be, but just like anything, like it could happen. Do I think that happens? No. Andy Ruiz has proven to bounce back from loss, and on top of that, proven to bounce back from an industry pushing him away from the sport. So no, I think Andy, if he loses, will be just fine. Andy's now going to be a perennial top 10 guy for the rest of his career. For the rest of his career, he's going to be a top 10 guy whether he loses or wins. He has the name and he has the skill. And to be honest, he always had the skill. We just never thought about him in that context. So, no, I think AJ winning and re-solidifying his place within the heavyweight top 5 is a net positive for the sport. And actually him losing a second fight in a row against Andy Ruiz would therefore actually end up having that effect more that you're talking about, the Buster effect, the James Buster Douglas effect, where they're no longer relevant. They have too many losses, so to speak. That would then happen to AJ. But if it happens to Ruiz, no, that doesn't happen. He has a win over AJ still. The trilogy's right there in the making. He's fine if he loses. And I'll be honest, if he loses the trilogy, he's still fine.
If let's say he got hurt in whatever round it was, second, third round, right? Let's say like that happened in the rematch and AJ finishes him right then and there. Lands the next shot, fight's over. He gets knocked out 2, 3, 4 rounds, whatever. You think he's still a star and has drawing power as a star? Not that people still like him, but he can sell tickets and move numbers.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I don't know that he has that kind of. He has that appeal now because he's the heavyweight champion of the world now. He beat Anthony Joshua, but if Joshua goes in there and blows him out, it's kind of. I don't know if people look at him as if it was a fluke, but I mean, I don't foresee that happening.
You're definitely going to have mouth breathers, knuckle dragging Neanderthals that think that on fight night, if that was to happen.
They're
right?
the other demographic in that third you were mentioning.
The dumb people, the very stupid people.
Yeah. So the blind, the dumb, and the PBC fanboys. That's that. Yeah. Just wanted to get that out there. People will say that I was a fluke. They'll go along with Joshua saying it was a lucky punch and that kind of thing. That will.
They're gonna say that time and time again, man. Like I pay those people no mind, man, because they don't matter. They're not relevant. They have no importance.
I mean, it could well be the case.
It could be the case, but there's no way to tell that on fight night.
I thought you were going to pay me no mind.
Fuck off.
No, my point was like if Joshua loses and then Joshua goes back to the UK and fights Dillian White, that would sell out, right, Rob? Even if AJ lost, and he knocks out Dillian White, he's a superstar again.
No, no.
So,
wait. Hold on. How can AJ take 2 back-to-back KO losses and bounce back like it's nothing? But Ruiz beats AJ in dramatic Fight of the Year fashion, KO of the Year fashion, and then loses in the rematch, and then he's automatically nothing. He's a bum. How is
I would think that. I'm saying that's how he would be perceived, like by the boxing public. I don't think he's a bum, but he would be perceived as Buster Douglas if he gets blown out in a rematch.
No, that won't happen. I guarantee you that won't happen.
Okay. I mean,
why? Like there'd be no reason for it.
Because he came out of nowhere to beat him.
But he didn't come out of nowhere.
No, I agree. I agree with you 100%. Like he was on the radar for a while, but outside of like the hardcores, the general boxing public didn't know who he was. I had my neighbor knocking on my door saying, "Did you see the fat guy knock out Anthony Joshua?" Right, like guy that doesn't watch boxing, the average sports fan. It's like, did you see the fat guy knock? Like he didn't know who he was.
He knew Joshua.
Yes, he knew Joshua. I'm saying Joshua was already a proven star
in America.
Ruiz is now a proven star. He has a gigantic fan base. He's already made history. And like the idea that one loss will automatically ruin him in the public's mind is just absurd.
Maybe I'm being absurd then. I'm saying it wouldn't ruin him in my mind. I'd still think he's good, but
I understand, Gary, that this is not your opinion, but I'm telling you, this isn't going to happen because Ruiz has far too many people in his camp, so to speak, at this point in time. PBC, Mexican Americans, there's no way that happens.
you might be right. I was walking around the mall the other day, and I saw 2 people wearing Andy Ruiz Destroyer t-shirt. So maybe his fan base has grown.
If he loses, I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize, but if he loses to AJ in the rematch, and let's say they don't make the trilogy, let's say AJ just avoids it for some reason, but I don't think that happens. But let's say that does. You don't think he's going to fight on Fox again in main event and do gangbuster numbers? Fight Adam Winnock, and do 2 million plus on Fox.
2 million. Oh, on Fox, on Big Boy Fox.
Yeah. What?
I don't know. If it'll do more than Laura, but I don't know if it does 2 million. You said Hurd and Williams didn't do 2. Maybe.
Yeah, but
2 million.
Hurd and Williams combined aren't Andy Ruiz at all.
No, you're right. That's why I reconsidered that after I said that. Fight fans love Hurd because he's all action and he's fun. He fights everyone. But you're right. Outside of fight fans, I don't really care about Jared Hurd.
Might be. 154. That's what, 308? And he's
fuck off. If it was Gerald Miller, it would be 100% right.
Yeah.
Anything else, Gary?
That's it.
Thank you for the call. Always appreciate it. Guys, that's going to be it for today. Final thoughts time. The presser, or press tour, I should say, for Ruiz Joshua is going to be boring. Expected to be boring. And also, don't let them fucking try to sell that people that criticize it for being in Saudi Arabia are the, quote, narrow-minded people. Fuck out of here, Eddie. Fuck out of here. People like you are narrow-minded for even insinuating that. That's bullshit.
How can you say Eddie Hearn is narrow-minded when he's making the biggest fight of the year, KSI and Logan Paul, in LA, November the 9th, live on the Zone? Go and check it out. You'll be there, Matt. Credentialed. You better be.
I will.
Good stuff. That's what I want to hear.
I do it for you guys. I do it for you. Patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Rob.
UK Rob, MCR, Instagram and Twitter. Smash that thumbs up. Thanks to everybody in the chat as always. Don't forget Patreon. Try and get a Patreon show out at some point. I guess soon.
Championship rounds on Friday.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, so head over to the post. I'm sure Matt's done the post ready for you guys to post your questions.
Yeah.
Give his.
It's the one from last week. Just to go to the one from last week. Use that one because I didn't do a show last week because we did boxing banter on my time slot.
Yeah, we bumped you down the ratings. But
I said the rating. It's just
so go and leave Matt your questions. Get his expert knowledge on his breakdowns of whatever you want to know. If it's KSI related, hit me up. I'll have to try and be on the show. But yeah, catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
You disrespect boxing, you piece of shit?
Where is this Burger King?
Just send me location.
I am Phil. I'm very Phil.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?